Well, I've been sober for 8 years.
Nice. Congrats.
I mean, I had tried recovery before,
Mm-hmm.
in and out of rehab
Okay.
and stuff like that, But there was a 15-year gap in that.
Okay.
And that started in 2000 or in 99. And like 3 or 4 years and one prison trip, of in and out of rehab.
Yeah.
And then a 15-year of just chaos.
Yeah.
And almost dying,
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Break That Cycle. I'm your host, Bill Cheney. We are here to help you turn obstacles into opportunities, and today's episode is going to be on addiction. I would like to welcome Jacob, Jeffcoat.
Hey, Bill. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, right?
We were just talking last time I saw you and your wife, Lena. You guys were on a motorcycle.
Yes.
And I was listening for the pipes coming down the road, but you decided to bring the car this time.
Yeah, we brought the car this time. My wife was recently in a car accident, so putting the helmet on isn't really all that comfortable for her right now.
Sure,
so,
understood.
Yeah.
And we're doing fine though, right?
Yeah.
We're doing good. Okay.
She's here for moral support.
Absolutely. So, but you're not nervous, are you?
A little bit.
Are you?
Not severely. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get through that pretty quickly.
God's good.
So we want to talk about addiction, and I was referred to you by Pastor Tom Campbell from Sea Glass Church.
Yes,
And he, good friend, and he is the only other guy that I know that wears really cool socks like me. So we have a connection, but it was nice to get to talk to him. And I asked him specifically, I said, hey, for the podcast, I want to do an episode on addiction. Do you have anybody in mind? He goes, absolutely. And he got us in contact within like 15 minutes. I hadn't even gotten back to the office yet. And I already had your number and information and reached out. So I appreciate you coming out and doing the episode here. So looking at addiction, which is obviously a heavy topic to talk about. Typically when we have heavy topics to discuss on the podcast, I like to go back to the childhood of the guest and talk about how life was growing up, because a lot of times our childhood will move us in certain directions here and there, just depending on how life was.
Right.
And sometimes it plays into it, sometimes it doesn't. But if you don't mind, can you talk a little bit about your childhood and from what you can remember growing up?
Yeah. Well, I'm a homeboy, so I'm from the local area.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in the Navy. He retired from the Navy the year I was born.
Okay.
And so my family have roots here out in the Fishhawk area. And my dad had a house that he built there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was born in Albany, Georgia, but I was only in Georgia for at the naval base.
Okay.
But only for 6 months. And then we came home and, we started residing at the house he built with my grandmother next door.
Nice.
And everything like that. So
very close with your family growing up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we were real close. My grandmother was right there, on my father's side
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So, yeah. But I grew up, I was the youngest of 6
Okay.
and the only boy.
Oh, wow.
So, and my youngest sister was 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So there was a
Quite the gap.
significant gap.
Yeah.
you know.
Did you during that age, as you were growing up, did you feel kind of left out, left behind? You're a dude, you don't really mix. Did you ever have feelings like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And you see, my dad was an alcoholic also. And so I remember him a lot in the younger times, but as I got into elementary school and such, he, it kind of like seemed like there was big voids without him there, because
And is that being the only boy of the family? Like you didn't have that backup?
yeah, Well, the thing was, is he drank, and when he drank, he was at the bar, so he wouldn't come home.
Yeah.
You know, and he had mistresses, and such like that.
Yeah.
So
Was this your first introduction into drugs and alcohol?
I never seen him drink. He didn't drink at home.
Okay, just
So
at the
I was
bars.
kind of oblivious to it. All I knew is I didn't see him.
Yeah.
And then my first experience with him was a night my sisters had to leave to go pick him up. My mom had already started working a part-time job at that point.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't around, and she came home with pizza from her job at the pizza parlor, and they had to leave to go get him because he got pulled over or he couldn't drive because he was drunk.
Got it.
And then he come home and it was a bad scene.
Yeah. Was what was, I guess, your first introduction into drugs and alcohol?
My first introduction in actually drinking and using. First time I ever drank was, believe it or not, at a church lock-in.
Okay.
Yeah. And just before it, me and a friend of mine went across the street and he stole 2 quarts of beer.
Okay.
Chugged it and went back in. Of course, by the middle of the night, we were trying to sneak outside to go find somebody to buy us beer.
Yeah.
Because I got kind of an addictive personality, right? I wanted that feeling again, right?
Did you ever, during that incident, did you ever have any thoughts of like paranoia, like, oh my God, someone's going to catch us? Or was it just, I just want to do it again?
No, I want to do it again and kind of give me the, the bad boy effect, right? And so it found me a place with the wrong crowd.
Sure.
Right?
But it's still a crowd. It's,
right.
It's
and
still,
so it is, right?
Still people to hang out with. It's people that, got your back.
Right.
So to speak, or that we would like to think have our back.
Or I felt kind of awkward before
about
myself, and it kind of gave me a different personality.
Was there anything growing up that made you feel awkward, like within your own family and within your own friend group?
The fact that I was the only boy, my mom had quit coming home, and so I was kind of, my sisters might have been resentful having to like raise me almost. So a lot of traumatic things happened as a result of, older siblings doing, like my daughter now, if I would have caught her doing the stuff to my younger children that I was done to me, it wouldn't be very well accepted.
Understood.
And then, I just felt awkward. A lot of guy getting picked on and stuff like that because I'm not a big guy, Bill.
Yeah.
So so I was a lot smaller. Then, and
Do you think that led to you? Well, first off, how long have you been in recovery?
Well, I've been sober for 8 years.
Nice. Congrats.
I had tried recovery before, in and out of rehab and stuff like that, But there was a 15-year gap in that.
Okay.
And that started in 2000 or in 99. And like 3 or 4 years and one prison trip, of in and out of rehab.
Yeah.
And then a 15-year of just chaos.
Yeah.
And almost dying,
So going back to that night at the lock-in where you and your friends were trying to score some beer, right?
Yeah.
Did you run into that that wall that was like, this isn't enough, I need more, or was it something else that led you to using?
Not at that point. It was just always, from there on, it was always go to score. And, as soon as I started smoking reefer, marijuana, my stepbrothers lived next door and they were big drug dealers.
Okay.
And so that would be my score, kind of some unique stories along with how I first got my first bit of weed. My brother was a drug dealer. He lived next door. And he said to me one day, I was mowing the grass next door, and he goes, I'll give you some grass if you mow my grass. And when he come back home, I was mowing his grass.
Yeah.
And I went to the truck, and he just put a big big pile in my hand, Bill.
Oh
And
man.
I didn't know what to do then, so I
Yeah.
stashed it and called my friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What any good youngster starting out would do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we went and had a party.
Have I want to come back to your stepbrothers a little later.
Yeah.
But where did that road lead you, and how did it progress from there?
It led me to, I mean, that became my identity, being the connection for others.
Mm-hmm.
It ended into LSD, another socially acceptable thing in the hippie community.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what I hung out with is skaters and hippies and metalheads and stuff like that. Music, aggression,
Hmm.
that whole scene, right? And from there, I got introduced to, harder drugs, right? Crack
Okay.
cocaine. I'm probably about 93.
Wow.
Got introduced to it, and then it was that was it. That was the pandemic back then. Crack cocaine was the one that grabbed you, and it grabbed me in such a way that it's undescribable. It was a feeling I could never catch ever again.
Wow.
I could never catch. I mean, until you were just like, every once in a while you'd get that spot where you didn't know if you were going to come back.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. Something like that.
Do you remember a point where it stopped being recreational and just with the guys or with the crew, and it started to become something more serious?
Oh yeah, the cocaine was immediately serious.
Okay.
Like to the point of like whatever money I got,
Yeah.
it would be all gone within a matter of hours, Bill.
Wow. Were you at this time, were you still doing it with a group of people or just on your own now?
Mainly it would be with my stepbrothers.
Okay.
If one of them was around, because that's the part of kind of turning people out, right? You get them hooked, and then you get to spend their money too
Mm-hmm.
on the drugs,
Yeah.
and so it becomes like a thing. They're the ones that had the connection, so you always had to use them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it just, man, it took possession of my life.
I would like to dive into that a little bit, about, you said it perfectly, taking possession of your life, because from what I understand, at that point, you're not you anymore. You're just a vessel for, all of these chemicals going into your body, again, searching, like you were saying, for that high that you had the first time. Can you describe that, what that feels like, being possessed by somebody that is just wanting more?
It's really hard to put it into words, but can you imagine being starving and then having all the food in the world and you could never fill up?
Mm.
You just endless, and if it was one substance or another. So, you start off the day, because you're an addict, and you start off, well, I'll just have a few beers. And then as soon as, I learned this in one of my many DUI classes,
Mm-hmm.
is that the first thing that goes is your good judgment. And then, so you either drive a car, or me, once I drank a few beers, then all bets are off. Then I'm looking to come up.
Got it.
And so, yeah, and then I could never feel right. There would be like an anxiety at the thought of even going to get some.
Wow.
The idea of vomiting before you even get there.
So it
in
had,
anticipation
yeah.
of, I mean, it was a whole ritual, man. It's possession. It's conjuring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole, the getting it, or picking up the girl to get it, or whatever the case may be, the whole driving there, and you can't wait, and,
Yeah.
I mean.
When do you think this became a day-to-day occurrence for you? Do you remember how old?
21, 22 years old, yeah.
Okay. And how long did that first stint last for you?
It never stopped. I had to leave. I had to leave the state, running from cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up in Northwest Arkansas, and I was still an addict and still wanted that high, so I ended up doing meth, and still just a flaming alcoholic, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, I go to the bar, that's where I got my first 2 DUIs, and every time I drink, I would want to go find dope somewhere, and so that's how I would get pulled over and get a DUI.
Oh, wow.
And then I got introduced to needles at that time. So the only way to get that rush from meth that you get from cocaine is to inject a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind first time you used a needle?
I didn't like needles, and so someone else would hit me.
Okay.
But then at some point you don't want to wait for nobody else. If that makes any sense.
The urge takes over.
Yeah, you want to take control of it, right?
In that fog, that day-to-day usage, did you ever have thoughts of change? Did your brain even allow you the opportunity to think this could be different?
Yeah, there was a thought of it, but it was so much of my identity and the culture I was in depth. I wanted to be, a thug. I wanted to, not the thug that you think of urban style, but like a prankster gangster, you know what I mean? To be a drug dealer, the whole ambiance of having power and control, but when you're so far addicted that it's really hard to obtain that kind of level, right?
Yeah. And I ask that because there are still massive and so many misconceptions of addiction out there to somebody who has not suffered through it. And I say suffer through it because it's something, like you said, took over your body and is almost forcing you to do all of these things. And of course, the other side, the critics, they'll say, well, you did it. You used the needle. You smoked the joint. You did all this.
Right.
And I mean, you can pick out people who have not suffered through addiction like that by the words that they say and what they, how they act. What do you think are still some misconceptions about addiction that the general public doesn't understand?
I like to refer to it as an affliction, right?
Okay.
All right. So an affliction is a mystery disease or physical ailment that causes anguish and pain. There's a chronicness to it, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's killing you unless you got it. And then whenever you tip into pharmaceutical opioids or something like that, opioids in general, then you're talking about a physical sickness.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if they want to know how it is to withdraw, if they ever had COVID, they would have a good idea how the body feels whenever you're withdrawing. Really, that's the only thing I could ever compare. But it was worse than withdrawing the COVID was. That's how, it's like right there, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
The way the body aches, It's like they say about sin, right? It takes you further than you ever planned to go, right?
At what point did you realize you didn't want to go down this path anymore?
I had hit like the rock bottom of rock bottoms, right? I had I'm a diabetic. I'd been sick several times to the point of by neglecting my body through drug use.
Sure.
I've been found to the point where, they said one more day and I would have been dead. Just because I would just use drugs instead of take insulin or monitor my diabetes or anything. And then this last time in 2018, at the first of the year, I got the flu, and my family kind of quarantined me in a travel trailer, right, for a few days because my parents were elderly. My daughter had children, so before this, I was sleeping in a shed behind the house.
Oh, wow.
They had let me inside by then, and so I got the flu, so they moved me to this trailer, and then I was sweating and dying and, diabetes. So, it could have very easily killed me. But after, I got my little paycheck that I had, and I had to use. And so I bought a bunch of meth.
Yeah.
I went on a 3-day bender.
Oh, wow.
And it about ended my life, Bill.
Yeah.
And, they said you can't stay here no more. They found my needles in some kind of a stupor. I kicked the door off the hinges to the house when they let me in the house.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just trying to escape my own home. I mean, I was certifiable,
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
with sickness and sleep deprivation and everything like that. Yeah, they were like, you can't stay here no more. And so I went, they told me, they called a rehab the only one I ever been to, Jesus' Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they called and that I could go. I'm like, well, I know I can go. I graduated there. I can always go back. They're family. And so I was resentful that I couldn't stay, but I agreed to go to rehab,
Sure.
because I was, whenever they asked me what I was doing there, I said, I'm a dead man.
Yeah.
I'm spiritually bankrupt. I need God back in my life.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I was done. I had nothing left. I had no license. I had no vehicle. I barely had clothes, man.
Yeah. I want to get into that stint in rehab and how this changed the outlook of Jacob's life for the better.
Yeah.
We got to take one break and then we'll come back and do that. On the other side, we're going to talk to Jacob about the climb out of his addiction. We'll be right back.
Mary and Martha House is a beacon of hope. For over 4 decades, it continues to shine brightly and illuminate the path towards a better future for countless women and families in need. Since our humble beginnings in 1982, we have dedicated ourselves wholeheartedly to the noble cause of helping those affected by domestic violence and homelessness. Did you know that every day in communities all around us, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 15 children face the terrifying reality of domestic violence? Compassion is the cornerstone of everything we do. We approach each person with a deep understanding of their unique struggles and needs. We foster an environment where respect and appreciation are not just words, but guiding principles that shape our interactions and relationships. Each member of our dedicated team is held to the highest standard, ensuring that compassion guides every aspect of our work. Mary and Martha House is a place where hope takes root, love blossoms, and lives are forever changed.
Please spread the word. Help raise awareness about Mary and Martha House by sharing their mission, success, stories, and upcoming events on social media. By amplifying their message, you can reach a wider audience and encourage others to get involved or make a donation. Please remember, even the smallest act of kindness can make a significant difference in the lives of those in need.
And, so let's go. I want to talk about, because this was your second stint in rehab, correct? You had been to this place once before?
Oh, I have been to this place 5 times before.
Oh, okay.
Through a 4-year period, I was in rehab.
Different rehabs or the same one?
No, same one.
That's very interesting because for some reason this one in 2018 stuck. What was the difference?
Right. Well, what was the difference was me. Right.
Okay.
I was at a rock bottom. 30 years of addiction.
It's a long time.
And in Matthew 5:8, it talks about blessed are those who know they are spiritually poor. And why do you think that is, Bill? There's nowhere else to look but up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to look to somebody else. And, it says that we realize we're not God, and that we're powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I had to become. I had to become, realize I wasn't God, quit trying to fix myself, quit trying, which I tried to do with alcohol and drugs.
Right.
Right. I was
Because that's how we think we're fixing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it works until it doesn't. Bill.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it did at first, right? Well, we thought it did, right? It numbed us. It helped us to not think of, maybe we could forget our problems for a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe we found acceptance in that bar stool or in that room with other people struggling,
Yeah. Well, you in a sick, twisted way, you form a community.
Oh, absolutely.
All based off of things that eventually will hurt you. Yes. But yeah, there's that bond that probably keeps you together. So you went to, this was your fifth or your sixth time in rehab?
I'm not even sure.
You're not? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. What in the other times that you went to rehab, how long could you last without that taking you over again?
Usually I was like looking to say it was calling me, especially the addiction to cocaine. I mean, they say it stimulates a part in your brain, same part of your brain. It puts a cloud on it, and it stays there for up to 7 years, depending on the significance of how much you used to use.
Okay.
And so it was like a call. I would go to like second phases of the ministry. They had another phase of it where you could go work and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's whenever I stayed sober the longest. But as soon as I would go back to home, back here to Gibson, Tennessee, that rehab was in Inglis, Florida. It's still going today. It's just north of Crystal River. And as soon as I would come back home, it's like, okay, well, I know what's down on this street. I know what's down on that street.
It's too easy.
And a family that drank a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, well, you're just drinking. They would buy you beer, so you're not using drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but as soon as I would get drunk, I would want to do something else. And so this time was zero compromise. I went when it's a Christian rehab. And the first week I blamed everybody else, right? Oh, well, they abandoned me. They left me no other place to go. But after that week and the clarity started coming, I said, well, I'm here. I'm going to submit to God, right? And so in his word, it tells us, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And so it was all about submission from that point on. And so I would just study my Bible and take advantage of all the services, where I worked. I was very trustworthy, so I worked in the thrift store and everything there, and I studied the Word, man, a lot. God was the reason for any of my success, right?
So now I'm interested in this question, well, your answer to this question. But did you, for this final time you went to rehab, did you feel that it was any easier getting sober than the other times?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a game changer, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like all the other times I've been to rehab, I was like 88 in a wake up, 90-day rehab, be 89 in a wake up.
Yeah.
I was like I was getting out of jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this time, I got lost in it, man. I just got lost in it.
Nice.
And they're like, how long you got? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to stay.
And what'd you end up doing?
I ended up going.
Okay.
I mean, but the thing is, I was willing to stay because this rehab, you don't have to leave. You can stay and do another 90.
Okay.
You can stay on a staff, and then you actually get to go to the store.
Oh.
But you got to commit to a year.
Okay.
This time, it was, what do you want me to do, God? What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
If my path is here to help other people, then I'll stay here.
Yeah.
If my path is to do another 90 days and be in the program and have somebody tell me when to eat, when to do this, when to do that, I said, then that's it. I said, if you don't want me to go home, because I never had any success back home.
Sure.
Every time I would go home, I would use.
Yeah. So how did it feel going back home that last time?
Oh, I was super, super nervous. I actually wasn't sure until this Tuesday before I was leaving on that Sunday, because my daughter had called me and said, I can't wait for you to come home. And I'm like, how do I tell her? I don't know if I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
something happened in the service, and the message that was brought forth, and God said, you can go home.
Okay.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Whenever I got home the next morning, I was like super sick. I missed the sanctuary, because Jesus's ministries was a sanctuary for me. It was a safe place.
Right.
I had been fasting this world out here, and it was all still here.
Yeah.
And whenever I got there, I missed the men I was there with.
Yeah.
And I wept that morning. It sounds weird.
Not at all. Not at all.
But then my mom had getting taken to the hospital. The next morning, I was out reading my Bible, and God is my strong tower. He's my everything. It's like David wrote this stuff, And then boom, my mom goes and has to get a pacemaker put in. And in the past, that would have been a great time, right? Because mom's sick. Poor me.
Yep, exactly.
Poor me.
Nice little trivia
because
there.
it was always about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, I would have used,
Yeah.
but this time I got to go in and pray for her, right?
Yeah.
Be the one that's going to pray, right? Because no one else was.
Wow.
And be the son I needed to be, right?
Yeah.
Be the grandpa I needed to be for my grandchildren.
So you turned all of that damage into a purpose.
Absolutely. And that was just the beginning.
Yeah. So where did life take you from there?
I got plugged into a church, and ended up meeting my soon-to-be wife, which is my wife now. Just 2 years went by, and life was just better, man. People I could be counted on. Place that said that they would never hire me again hired me, and then they couldn't believe who was looking at them. They weren't used to that.
Yeah.
I didn't have a license.
Okay.
6 DUIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. And so, I married my wife. She married the guy that, she felt God told her to marry. I told her about my crazy past. And, one of our first dates, I took her to that rehab.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they have church services there.
Open to the public? Or
Yeah,
just people
absolutely.
That have been, okay.
Yeah. Bill, if you're ever up in English,
nice.
Just about every day of the week there's a service, and you too can go.
That's
man.
really cool.
It's open to the public, and you can talk to the men.
Yeah.
Just befriend them in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I met her and took her to church. To rehab.
Yep.
She liked it. And then you could say that was kind of our introduction kind of to recovery, and like seeing it as a pathway to help, right? But it was so far away, we knew we couldn't do it there.
Yeah.
So, but I got a free 90-day rehab for anybody that wants to go.
That's awesome.
So if, you ever run into a situation having a hard time getting somebody there, and they're willing to go to a faith-based rehab, we can get them there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's free.
That's awesome.
Free 90 days. And then they don't have, if they're not ready to go home, they don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of that place,
Yeah. And to my knowledge, a lot of more and more insurance companies are covering a certain amount of time in rehabs now.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we also have, we connect dots, and we're probably going to get to that later on.
Yeah.
But we know how to connect dots to get people, stuff, but we'll probably cover that later.
So 8 years sober, right?
Yes, sir. Just over 8 years.
Do you still struggle?
Not with the thought of using.
Okay.
That is so far in the past. You just form a different mentality, a different way of coping now.
Yeah.
Right?
Let me ask you this: is it time, or is it a change in your world? Because, and we'll get into your organization in the last segment, but you have surrounded yourself with people who have been through the same thing and want the same outcomes, happy outcomes.
Right.
Whereas before, every time you would come home, you would fall into that pit again. Same old guys, same old things. Is it a combination, or do you find that time weighs a little heavier than community, or community versus time?
I think it's a combination of both. Absolutely. You know the old saying, right? Look around you, who you surround yourself with, and that's what you're gonna look like, right? Birds of a feather flock together. So, you gotta put people around you that you wanna look like, right? The recovery ministry, Celebrate Recovery Ministry, has put me and made me friends with people that I would have never met otherwise, that are out of my tax bracket, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To
Sure.
put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't know them any other way in the church.
Yeah.
Right? And the acceptance and the momentum I'm grabbing, they see God work in me. It brings more people around.
Yeah.
And he introduces me to more people. More people. Well, I know you, Bill, now
Yeah.
because of this.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep. In my mind, I'm thinking of somebody who may be starting to travel down this road of addiction, to try and get them to understand that what you just said, birds of a feather, if the people you are surrounding yourself with are, I guess, aiding in the addiction, how powerful is it for them to find a new community?
Man, it's essential to survival, man.
Yeah.
Because when you're commiserating together, right?
Yeah.
You're finding common ground in something powerful and negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta change it, right? I talk to people all the time that are struggling. They call me, they're messed up, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to change something here. You gotta change. What are you doing? Going to the bar or something? Well, you got to stop hanging around those people, even if it's big enough workplace. Whenever I first got out of rehab, I went back to work at the same place. They're all drinking beer under the shady tree every day.
Sure.
Yeah. Jacob, why won't you, they call me Jake by my old name. That man's dead.
All right.
But anyway, why won't you hang out with us?
Yeah.
Did I think I could possibly be around it? But why would I? Why would I push? So whenever it's quitting time, I'm trying to get home, even though I didn't have a license, and it always didn't work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just drink Diet Coke and hang out with us. And I'm like, it's not that easy. Please don't be offended. I'm doing this because I need to. It isn't because I don't love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys are.
Do you find it any easier now to hang out with people who are having a beer? Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, as I got in, 2 years in, I could hang out when I finally got my license back, I could hang out with them for a little bit. I'm still ready to go.
Yeah.
But, why would I spend extensive time?
Sure.
But I do indicate that God may open a door.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so if one of them has troubles and decides that, they've been getting in a lot of trouble with it, who do they call?
Yeah. Yeah.
They call somebody that they see that has fruit in their life. You know?
And I find it, and I think a lot of people would find it ironic that you finding a better community for Jacob was in a motorcycle club.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't associate those two together.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you can find community anywhere, in any form. How did joining with that community, did you ride before?
Yes, I rode off and on, throughout my life, but
Okay.
I was so addicted that I really couldn't afford nice things.
Sure. Okay.
So when I got sober, I could afford nice things.
Yeah.
I joined Broken Chains. We're a community of bikers finding hope and healing in Christ Jesus through Christ-centered recovery process, right? And making others realize that change is possible and hope is real, right? And his name is Jesus, right? And so we're the only sober Christian club in the world.
Oh, wow.
there's other sober clubs and there's other Christian clubs. We're the only ones that
together,
right? Yeah. And so it's broken chains because he broke our chains of addiction, no matter what that may look like. Yeah, and so it's just a great group. We get together and have fun, and we ride, man. We go to different places.
How often do you guys get together to do your rides?
Just like whenever we can. Like if we're a few of the guys, if we're off on Saturday, we'll get out and go get breakfast and fellowship, right? Because it's about community.
Yeah.
It's just whenever we can, or a person's giving a testimony. A lot of people in our group are active in Celebrate Recovery, and so like me, I ride all over the state of Florida giving my testimony at different Celebrate Recoveries.
Sure.
And so, say my friend, my compadre Raul is giving his testimony somewhere, then we all get together and we ride out to wherever it is, whether it's in Lakeland or Tampa, Temple Terrace, whatever. There's safety in numbers too.
Yeah. And I like the idea that you can find community in the sometimes the most ironic places, and I guess only ironic to the stereotypes that are out there. But there's community in all different types of facets, and I think it's important. And to what you had said, if you keep going back to the same environment and you keep hanging out with the same people, you're going to end up doing the same things. And what's that insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. I want to go into a couple of things because, this is great. Jacob's doing great. He got out. He's sober now, 8 years. Life has a meaning again. That's wonderful. Good for him. I'll never be that person. But I want to talk about some of the things that addiction stole from you. What have you been able to identify things that your addictive nature and those that you were seeking community with at that time, what things were stolen from Jacob that he has now that he can express to other people who are going through it and say, this is worth it. You stay on this path. What things were stolen from you?
Purpose.
Hit him hard with the first one. Yeah.
It takes your purpose away.
Yeah.
Your purpose becomes getting drugs. It controls your whole life.
Yeah.
Even if we take the drugs out of it and we do alcohol, if the first thing you're doing when you get off work is stopping at the store and going to the beer cooler, what's your purpose?
Yeah.
What are you working for? Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
You're working for the
high. For the
addiction, man.
Yeah.
You're wrapped up, you're chained, you're bound.
Yeah.
Right? It's controlling everything in your life. If everybody answered the questions that they ask you in a DUI class, we'd all have extra classes to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you ever gotten in trouble while you're drinking, do you drink more than twice a week? Do you drink more than one when you drink? You know what I mean? Do you ever get in arguments with your family member? And if you answer 2 out of any of those questions, then they give you extra treatment to do, you know? So you lie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did that for years.
Or you're not.
Did that for years. Every time you get the annual, how much are you drinking? This much. How many times a week? Oh, you meant a week? No, sorry, that was per day. Yeah, you end up lying, and it's, I think some of it, my battle was alcohol. And I think some of it was, I didn't want anybody telling me that I didn't know what I was doing or that I had a problem or, high functioning. I was managing hotels and people.
The business, right?
Right. But yeah, first thing I did when I came home, made a drink, and I would keep drinking until I passed out. And so it was, I guess I didn't really have any community at that point. The other side of it, and like you said with the purpose now, I got 1,000,001 things I want to do when I get home. Drinking is not on that list. Right? I'm going to go home and start editing this podcast. I'm, working on another project. I'm, trying to put plot together to write a book, and I'm doing all these things. And so there's positivity now surrounding and that's something that can keep you going. But do you still struggle at all?
Yeah, I struggle. Life is a struggle, man.
Yeah.
It's just I deal with it differently. I may lead a ministry and stuff like that, but there's nights, if life is hard and things aren't going exactly well, I may catch another meeting somewhere.
Yeah. We'll go with one more question. So to wrap this segment up, I again, as I told you, we do this podcast for others to help, to give the voiceless a voice, to let them understand that there are other people out there struggling with what they're going through, even if they think they're all alone. But what would you say to somebody who thinks in their mind that they're too far gone, they can't be helped, it's a wrap, I'm just going to ride this out and stay as high as I can or as drunk as I can until I keel over and die? What kind of hope can you give somebody who thinks that they're too far gone?
That's a lie from the pit of hell. God loves you. He has a purpose and a plan for your life. Bible says that he knew you while you were still knitted in the womb, right? Before you were even a thought, man. And that he cares about you just as much as he cares about this guy. And he cares about Bill. Yeah. And that you have something to do in this life. Nice. You got a purpose.
That's beautiful.
You just haven't lined up with it yet.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We're going to, one more quick break, and then we'll be back. On the other side, Jacob's going to talk to us about his organization, Know Us by Our Love. We'll be right back. So we want to talk about Know Us by Our Love.
Yeah.
And how did this get started for you?
I've been doing volunteer work in the prisons. I lead Celebrate Recovery. God opened the door for me to go back into prison, do Celebrate Recovery in there. I started also doing yard events with Root Prison Ministry. Okay. So I'm riding all over the state of Florida.
On the motorcycle.
On the motorcycle. Yep. And we take our motorcycles into the prison yard. Okay. So that's running out of time.
Yeah.
Prison ministry, motorcycle ministry. And, I was only able to do so many events. Doing the prison ministry and going to Arcadia every Friday, I couldn't work on Fridays in order to have recovery for those guys. And a lot of the other volunteers didn't want to drive that far.
Sure. Yeah.
So
they typically don't put prisons and jails in heavily populated places. So it is a bit of a drive to get there.
So a lot of them won't let recovery in, and different stuff like that. Who knows why? God opened the door for me to go to DeSoto every Friday, and that costs, everything costs money.
Yeah.
And so we were actually sitting over here at Uncle Joe's with Heath, and he runs another ministry for veterans and first responders.
Retreat for Heroes. He was actually our first podcast guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're sitting across from him trying to trying to connect with him to help people. Right? You know what I mean? And maybe get our community help through him.
Sure.
And he looked across the table at us and said, "When are you going to start your nonprofit?"
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Yeah. And that day I told her, I said, "Know Us by Our Love."
Yeah.
And so some time went by and we kind of slept on it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we're on social media, right? So they see me going here, they see me going there.
Yeah.
And they go, "How can you help?"
Yeah.
"How can we help?" And I'm like, "Well, you can give money to the church or you can give money to Broken Chains." Not,
Sure.
Neither one of those organizations help fund
what you're doing,
what we do.
Right. How did you come up with the name?
Well, in John 13 and in Matthew 22, Jesus spoke and he said, he was talking to the disciples, and he says to them, "They will know you are my disciples by your love for one another." Right? Yeah. And so in those scriptures too, it talks about loving thy neighbor as thyself.
Something we need to do a little more of these days.
And
But
who's your neighbor?
Yeah.
And then later on in Matthew, it talks about, you seen me hungry and you fed me.
Yeah.
You know, you visited me while I was in prison. And he tells them, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
But then he also says, you seen me and you didn't feed me.
Mm.
You didn't come and visit me in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know, and a lot of people skip this part. It says, depart from me.
Mm.
Because what you didn't do for the least of these, you didn't do for me.
Yeah.
You know, focus on the positive part, right? Because he says he'll know that we are Christ followers, you know. And then in James it says, works don't get us to heaven. But if you are a believer, there will be works.
Mm.
So if you truly got Jesus Christ in your life, you know, I take recovery into the prison.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't go in there, they don't get recovery, Bill.
Right.
They leave fractured people without wholeness.
Yep. Still searching.
And they go back, and what do you think's going to happen?
They go back to that community that put them there in the first place.
Well, I don't get to pour into them the same thing. You got to surround yourself with different people.
Yeah.
You keep doing what you done, and you're going to get what you got.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I get to be very frank with them, right? Because I care about them. I don't, man, if they get out and I go back and they're back, oh man, they're really going to hear it. Yeah. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? Was it not enough?
Yeah.
You didn't suffer enough?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Problem is that there's not enough recovery programs. There's not enough of these things, right? They can do anger management, but do they get to the reason why they're angry?
Yeah.
You know? And so
for some reason, people love just being oblivious to the root cause of everything. We just went through a presentation and they're talking about different types of medication for, you know, anxieties and depressions and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, but you're just putting a Band-Aid on.
Right.
You're not trying to heal the wound.
Why are you having depression?
What keeps bringing you back to using?
What triggers you into it, right?
Yeah.
To making you depressed, right? Because life's going to be life, right? You know, and so you know the definition of recovery is, right? Regaining something lost or stolen. What has addiction done? Stole our purpose, right? Yeah. We're back to purpose again.
Yeah. I'd love to know how many miles you put on the bike in a given year, but
18,000 last year.
Holy crap. So what type of platform are you going in? What type of, is it like a set program that you have over, you know, every week is a different topic, or do you just, are they one-on-ones or group, or do you just kind of going with the flow?
We do the 12 steps of Celebrate Recovery.
Sure.
So we have the step study process, right? And so Celebrate Recovery has made a combined 4-step study books, and they're prison edition. So they're like literally 4 books glued together. So there's like 4-page 5s, you know, but it makes it economical for us.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's $3.99.
Yeah.
You can help an inmate get a recovery, step study recovery book.
Wow.
You know, that's what it costs. And so we buy them by the case, you know, and that's what, you know, we got to get permission to take it in and everything like that. But yeah, I walked with these guys through the process. And then after they graduate, guess what? They start teaching the lessons. They start, right? So they get excited whenever they get to go and like get up and teach the class because they've done it. That's the one requirement. So they got a leadership book that they pass around, and the next person that's going to teach. I don't have to do everything now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I got to show up or they don't get the room.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know?
No. But again, to your point, they now have a purpose.
Right.
They now have something positive to hang on to that will hopefully, and I'm sure it does in most cases, carry on outside of those walls.
Yeah.
And now it's doing what you're doing, you know, to get to that point, to be able to. It's
the biggest discipleship process in the country.
Yeah.
It's the 12 steps.
Yeah.
Right? Whether they're AA, NA, all that.
Yep.
Right? If you put Jesus in control, he's going to do it. Right? And so these guys are actually, I give them books and they go back to their dorms and run step study groups.
Nice.
So I have no idea how many people are going to find recovery.
Yeah.
Because these guys are taking it back to the dorm, $3.99 a book. Why would I can send 4 books back to the dorm.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Encourage them to use a notepad, and then when they leave, they can leave it for somebody else, right?
Yep. And just
and maybe it finds its way back up into the chapel, and I can reuse them. But if they do the process, it was $4.
Yeah.
It's well worth it, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
definitely.
sayher
So looking at the 12 steps, is there anything else that that you guys are doing that kind of separates you from other recovery spaces, as other than riding up on a cool motorcycle and getting, because they allow you to bring them into the prisons, right?
Right. Yep. About once a month, we go into different prisons all over the state of Florida. We ride right on to the prison yard.
Mm-hmm. Which is a cool topic starter, you know?
It's like a fishing lure, right?
Yeah.
You ever seen a dull fishing lure?
No.
Right? They're always shiny, glittery, right?
Yeah.
And so it's bait, man.
Yeah.
And you get them out there, and then I'm one of the only recovery guys that goes out there.
Yeah.
And when you look at the statistics, you know what percentage of inmates are there due to something with drugs and or alcohol?
No.
About 92%.
Wow.
Either currently are,
Yeah.
or their charges they were either under the influence or a drug charge.
Wow.
Drugs and alcohol played some kind of part in putting them there. Now, it's hard to say put them there, right? Because ultimately it was their action, but it was the affliction, right? The mysterious disease, right?
Yep.
That got them.
Yeah.
Then you're just trying to medicate.
Yeah,
Each time the pain gets worse, you just medicate more, right? And
Yeah.
so it's bringing pathways of healing to them, And so that's what we want to do. So we want to do more of that. So the future, if you're going to ask, is what we're looking to do is start recovery homes.
Okay.
For maybe have some safe places for these guys to go,
Yeah.
but not only for them, right? Because mind you, these guys are getting out and they're going back to where they came from.
If they don't have any
and
other
there's
choice,
a lot of them here that are coming back from here. And what are they going to do? They're going to go back to the same grandma's house.
Yep. Talk to the same guys on the
and
corner.
JoJo's down the street,
Yep.
and Bill, and all the different people are still in the neighborhood, or that girl, right? They can have all the good intentions, and then that girl, whatever she's doing, you're doing.
Oh yeah.
It's just a catch, man. It's a trap, right? They call it a trap, right?
Yeah. And there's also, I think that's brilliant. There's not enough, and here, at least in Hillsborough County, there's not enough shelter space. And those are just for people that have, they're victims of homelessness, or in Mary and Martha House cases, it's victims of domestic violence and homelessness. And there's not enough room. There's not enough shelter beds out there for those people, not even to account all of the people that are coming out of incarceration. Where are they going? What opportunities do they have coming straight out? They're already up against it because now you got a rap sheet. Good luck getting a job. And then if you do get a job, you're going to get a job at places like you, where they're trying to give you a beer first thing in the morning, or give you a joint first thing in the morning. Yeah. And it's there needs to be space. There needs to be time to decompress, to allow yourself the ability to think in a positive space.
Right.
Because when they're getting out and they're going back to that same block, to the same street, to the same neighborhood, they're not given that opportunity. They don't have that opportunity to think anything different because the noise is the same. Right. And they go right back to it.
We don't believe that just sober living's good enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Recovery home, right, is regaining something lost or stolen.
Right.
Right? You know how many times I've helped people get to rehab, right? So I'm an advocate for Jesus is, right? Just like I told you, if you ever need free rehab for somebody, maybe these paid places, because, nothing against them, but they're running around with their phones. They leave the gate open. Who's pulling up in the parking lot? Yeah. I've done Celebrate Recovery meetings at some of these places. I won't mention their names.
Sure. But it happens.
What I seen going on at one point, I had to wash my hands.
Yeah.
You got to have something, and reprogramming, right? So in Romans it says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You got to reprogram. You got to reboot. When your computer's too, you remember the old computers, right? And they would be all jacked up. And you're like, oh, I got to defrag this thing. Boy, you better download whatever you need because you got to go through and you got to clean it all up. You got to let that thing, and it ran, sometimes it ran
days.
for hours. Right. Well, how you going to get better in one day?
Yeah.
You know what? How you going to get better in 2 days?
You got to pull all those pieces out.
90 days is you're dropping a bucket. As far as rehab goes, people talk about, that's 90 days. It's like, oh, well, you weren't thinking about that whenever you were drunk for 5 years,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Do you, so you've been doing do you call it a motorcycle ministry? I don't know how to put a label. Is there a label on that? I mean, cause you're incorporating the motorcycle and,
right.
What's some of the feedback you get when you ride the bike onto the yard? And like for the first, if they haven't seen you before, are they a little skeptical? Like, what is this guy doing? What's going on? Or, I mean, do they all gravitate you like kids
absolutely.
around an ice cream truck? Or
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we go in with Root Prison Ministry. So, I mean, they got a reputation. People are looking forward to those yard events.
Cool.
You got different groups like Passions for Prison. Give a shout out to Jessica and Scotty. They send inmates, they get their names and their DOC numbers, and they send them cards every Christmas.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Know us by our love. We got people, we can't write them. Because we go inside. Yeah. But they can write our organization and somebody will write them back. Yeah. Someone who doesn't go inside. Okay. Right? Because it would be against policy, right? We got.
So how long have you been doing these ministries?
I've been doing CR on the inside for 3 years. Okay. I've been doing it 3 years. Yeah. I didn't think I could ever go back in. I mean, that wasn't on my radar. And then I ran into Jessica and Scotty, and I'm like, because I've been to prison, And they're like, I was there talking to a guy, and he had done 22 years. He was serving a life sentence, and God let him, he got out. And so he actually was going back in.
There is something to be said about that population can sense people who are genuine or not. And
they can smell it.
Absolutely. And you having been down that path and know what it looks like on the other side, you're the perfect person to talk to them.
Something's got to be different.
Yeah. So in the 3 years you've been doing this, do you have any stories that you'd want to share, like success type things that just give you the fuel to keep doing this and keep serving this mission?
Well, when I first started volunteering at Hardy Correction, it's a level 5. So most of the people are murderers and, sex offenders and all this stuff. Several of the guys that I knew there, probably it was last year, and during the summer, went to a barbecue in Nehemiah House in Vero Beach, all get together from different parts of Florida to join for a barbecue outside.
How cool.
Many of them making it, man.
Yeah.
The one guy, Leroy, he hadn't been to the beach in 15 years, brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
he was
cool.
going, I still message him every once in a while, and he's doing good. He was in Tampa, and now he's moved to Orlando.
Nice.
But these guys are doing it.
Yeah.
And they're products of Celebrate Recovery. So they went into the program and they were honest with themselves. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. But sometimes the hardest thing about recovery is admitting it to yourself. Just exactly what happened. Yeah. And so many of these guys were, you get one person to come out. So many of them were sexually abused.
Yep.
Hurt people. Yep. Chances are, if they're a sex offender, that means 9 times out of 10, somebody did it to them first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so you got to you got to help them find their pathway to healing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're there for. We're there to support them. These programs don't exist without volunteers.
Sure. Beautiful segue into my next question. If anybody wants to get involved with Know Us by Our Love, how do we get involved?
Well, you can contact us at knowusbyourlove.org, right? And then you can send us a direct email and get with my wife. You'll end up talking to my wife and get you plugged in. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. I mean, we need help writing inmates.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
Yeah.
And so we go to these different yard events, we get their names, and, we like to send them a letter and say, hey, it was great praying for you. It was great listening to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Even just knowing someone heard you could be a game changer.
Yeah. Come in with us, right? And there's other aspects. There's going to be more, right? As we get at recovery homes, we're going to need a lot of different things we don't even know yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got big plans. You got a lot more coming. So anything is good right now.
Yeah.
So get involved. So thank you for that information. I really appreciate you coming out and sharing your story.
Me,
before we go though, I would like you to look into your camera here. Okay. And I want you to imagine you're talking to somebody who was Jake, okay? Somebody who thinks that life is over, it's not worth it, and who may think that they don't have a purpose. What would you say to them if they're listening or watching?
You're not hopeless. You're not too far gone. There's a real God, and he loves you, and he cares about you. And he wants something else for you. Not what you have right now. So just get plugged in somewhere. Go to a Celebrate Recovery. Go to an AA meeting. Go somewhere and find a new community. Brothers or sisters to walk alongside you, right? Because we can't do it alone. Silence is a killer. So
couldn't have said it any better.
Sorry.
Jacob, that was beautiful, and thank you again for coming out and doing this. It's a very important topic. It's very heavy, and I hope that we helped. I hope that you helped someone understand that there's still a purpose out there, and that you're there to help people find that purpose. So we appreciate you coming out.